What I have for you today is a topic that many of us can relate: emotional eating. You know, those moments when you reach for food, not because you are physically hungry, but because you are feeling stressed, sad, anxious, or depressed. Let's talk about what emotional eating really is, why it happens, how it affects your brain and body, and how we can recognize it. If you are patient to stick around, I will show you how to overcome emotional eating. So, emotional eating, sometimes called stress eating, is when we tend to food not to satisfy hunger but to deal with your feelings. And in moments like that, you don't grab the healthy foods. It's usually those high sugar foods. Examples: candies, chocolate, pastries, and ice creams. Because sugary foods can provide a quick energy boost and release feel good hormones like serotonin, which may temporarily alleviate feelings of stress or sadness. You also eat high fat foods like chips, fried foods, pizza, creamy sauces, because foods rich in fats are often associated with comfort and indulgence. And most of the time, when you are stressed or sad, you find yourself reaching out for processed and convenient foods, fast foods, ready to eat meals, snacks like cookies and crackers. Because these foods are often energy dense and easy to consume without much thought. You may also not spare those salty snacks. Why? Because salty snacks can be particularly appealing during moments of stress or anxiety. And alcohol as well. You may go for beer, wine, cocktail. You may grab them as a way to unwind after a stressful day, because it can lower inhibitions and temporarily elevate moods. But here's the thing: emotional hunger is very different from physical hunger. Physical hunger builds up gradually and can be satisfied with almost any type of food and doesn't come with guilt. Emotional hunger, on the other hand, hits suddenly, comes with intense cravings, and often leads to you feeling guilty afterwards. So, why do we do this? Well, there are few reasons behind emotional eating. People eat to ease negative emotions. People eat to distract themselves from problems or feelings of low self-esteem. And people who usually restrict their food intake may lose control and overeat when stressed. Now, biologically, stress is a huge player in emotional eating. When we are stressed, our bodies release cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And cortisol doesn't just mess with our moods, it also boosts appetite and cravings for high calorie comfort foods. It's like your body is saying, eat this now, you will feel better. But then, of course, the relief is temporal. The tricky part is emotional eating can become a cycle. Stress leads to eating, eating leads to guilt or weight gain, and that adds even more stress. So it's a loop. Now let's talk about how this emotional eating impacts our mental health. It's not just about what we are eating, it's about what's happening in our minds too. Have you ever eaten something in a moment of stress only to feel guilty later? Emotional eaters often feel shame when they realize they weren't actually hungry. So this is where the cycle comes in. You feel bad, you eat more, and then you feel worse. And it goes on. It's a tough loop to break. Again, emotional eating doesn't actually fix the emotions we are trying to cope with. In fact, it can make things like anxiety and depression even worse. The momentary comfort doesn't last, and we are left dealing with the same emotion, and sometimes the emotions may be amplified. Some people withdraw socially because they feel embarrassed about their eating habits or body image. That isolation can make feelings of loneliness and depression even stronger. It's like a snowball effect. Now, how does this emotional eating affect the body? It's more than just weight gain. It can impact your overall health in significant ways. Because it involves high calorie comfort foods, it can lead to weight gain over time. And with that comes the risk of health issues like diabetes, heart disease, and even high blood pressure. When we eat emotionally, we tend to go for sugary and fatty foods. These patterns can throw our whole diet out of balance and increase the risk of chronic conditions like metabolic syndrome. It's not just about the calories, because this can have a long-term impact on our health. Overeating or eating the wrong kinds of foods can leave you feeling physically awful. You may feel nausea, stomach pains, or fatigue. These symptoms can linger even after the emotional moment has passed, affecting your energy and overall well-being. Emotional eating can sometimes escalate into binge eating, where you eat large amounts of foods in a short time and feel completely out of control. Binge eating is a serious disorder, a condition that needs attention and care. When emotional eating becomes a habit, you may lose touch with your natural hunger and fullness signals. This makes it harder to know when you are actually hungry or full, leading to chronic overeating. So how do you know you have this condition called emotional eating? Sudden cravings is one. Emotional hunger isn't like regular hunger that builds up gradually over time. No, it hits fast and feels super urgent, like you have to eat something right now. And it's usually for a specific comfort foods, chocolates, ice creams, chips. That's a major clue that your cravings might be emotionally driven rather than actual physical hunger. Now let's talk about overeating. Emotional eating often involves mindless eating. Like 1 minute you open a bag of chips and the next thing you know it's empty. And then there's the physical discomfort. Eating until you are overly full or even feeling a little sick. That's because you are not eating to fuel your body. You are eating to try to soothe your emotions. If you feel guilty after eating, like why did I just eat all this food? That guilt or shame is a big sign that your eating might be emotionally driven. When we eat for reasons other than hunger, it often leaves us feeling worse, not better. Finally, take a moment to reflect. Do you notice a pattern where you eat when you are feeling stressed, sad, bored, or even anxious? If food becomes your go-to coping mechanism for dealing with emotions, that's a key indicator of emotional eating. So how do you know if emotional eating is something you are experiencing? You can ask yourself these few questions. 1. Am I eating because I'm physically hungry, or is this emotional? 2. What emotions am I feeling right now? Stress, sadness, boredom, or even happiness? 3. Do I tend to eat at unusual times, like late at night, or more than usual when I'm upset? 4. Are there specific situations, like a bad day at work, that always lead me to grab a snack when I'm not actually hungry? So these are some of the questions you can ask yourself. Emotional eating is a common way people cope with life's ups and downs. But by recognizing the signs and reflecting on your relationship with food, you can start to take steps towards healthier habits. So now you have got to figure out what's causing you to eat emotionally. One of the best way to do this is by keeping a food diary. Write down what you are eating, how much, and most importantly, how you are feeling when you eat. Are you stressed, lonely, bored? Recognizing these patterns is the first step to understanding what's really going on. And before you grab that snack, pause for a second and ask yourself, am I actually hungry, or am I just responding to my emotions? That little check-in can make a huge difference. Next, let's replace emotional eating with healthier ways to cope. Exercise is a game changer here. You don't need to run a marathon. Just a short walk, a quick dance session, or even some stretching can help reduce stress and boost your mood. And don't forget about mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, or even just sitting quietly and focusing on the present moment can help you manage those emotional triggers without reaching for food. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to distract yourself. Find an activity you enjoy, read a book, listen to your favorite playlist, or call a friend for a chat, because distractions can be powerful, especially if they take just 5 minutes to shift your focus away from food. And this might even be a great time to pick up a new hobby, whether it's painting, gardening, or learning to play a musical instrument. Keeping yourself engaged can help reduce boredom eating. Now let's talk about meal planning. Having a regular eating schedule can help you avoid those moments of extreme hunger that often lead to emotional eating. When your meals are balanced and spaced out, you are less likely to feel that sudden urge to snack. How you talk to yourself matters. If you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts about food or your body, pause and flip those thoughts. Replace those thoughts with positive affirmations like, I am working on improving my habits, and that's okay. While doing this, be kind to yourself. Self-compassion can make the process so much easier. And remember, you don't have to go through this alone. Therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, can be incredibly helpful for tackling the root cause of emotional eating. Or you could join a support group to connect with others who understand what you are going through. Journaling can be a great way to process what you are feeling instead of using food to cope. And when life feels overwhelming, focus on problem solving. Take steps to tackle those stresses in your life head on. Food is just a temporary fix for emotions. Finding healthier ways to handle them can make all the difference. Reducing emotional eating isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware and making small meaningful changes. Start with one or two of these strategies and build from there. This video is for educational purposes only, so do consult with a doctor or a dietitian, because they can work alongside mental health professionals to provide a comprehensive approach to managing emotional eating. Thanks for watching till the end. Hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and hit the subscribe button. This will help the YouTube algorithm to push it to others who might need it. And I did love to hear from you in the comments. See you next time.